Oftentimes when we get rejected from certain things, from certain people in life, we take it as a downfall or something. We're not good enough. But in reality, it's actually the best thing that could ever happen to us. Let's talk about it. Welcome back, my friends. I hope you're all having a fantastic week so far. It is almost springtime. The birds are chirping, the butterflies are out, the bees are buzzing. It is a good time to be alive, and let's just all be grateful that we're alive and we have our health and we're able to eat food and have friends and family and have a home, have a bed, have a vehicle to drive. The most simplest things. When we become grateful for those small things, everything else in life will come. And so today we're going to be talking about rejection is protection. And this was a hard lesson for me personally to overcome. And I think it is for a lot of people, because we look at rejection with a negative connotation. And man, my throat. I think that, when we get rejected, we connect that to our identity and our self-worth and our self-esteem. And so I think about this with the narcissist. And it took me a long time to really understand this and to let it go. But if we think about when we are in a narcissistic relationship, whether it's friends, family, or a lover, we're actually rejected from the very beginning, the whole entire time. And, oftentimes we think that, toward the end, if the narcissist left you or the narcissist started doing things, towards the middle or end of the relationship, we feel like we're getting rejected. But you get rejected in the narcissistic relationship right in the very beginning. Because again, the narcissist molds you and builds this illusion and tries to warp your reality. So in essence, from the very beginning, they're saying, you're not good enough, or you're not who I want you to be. So we need to mold you into this other thing. And so with rejection being protection, it takes time to really understand this and kind of allow it to be what it is. And I think I heard a preacher say this about rejection being protection. And we oftentimes think we want what we want, in the moment, but we don't realize the repercussions of wanting this specific thing. And, God knows better than we do. That's why it's like, yeah, you could want $1 million right now, but what if you did truly get $1 million right now? Have you taken finance classes? Do you know how to invest in business and stocks? Do you know how to handle that kind of money? Or would it go to your head? Would you have extreme abuse of power like most people have when they get that, when they win the lottery or get an abundant amount of money that they've never had before and don't know how to use? So that's why rejection is protection. God knows better than we do. And I think about this with the narcissist. In my case, I've never had a relationship longer than a year, ever. I've had a lot of relationships, but I've never had any serious long-term relationships. And I remember for years being like, man, I just want to meet that one, the soulmate, that person that I can have kids with and have a family and grow an empire and, have all the things like the white picket fence. I wanted all that, and I just never found that person. Especially as you get older, connections become very difficult to make. I think when we're younger, connections are just easy. It's just like you connect with everyone. But once you get older and you learn more about yourself and what you do want and how to set boundaries, it becomes very difficult to make connections. And with the ex-narcissist in my situation, I thought she was the one and only. She was the first person I ever felt about in my entire life, out of all the women I dated, that I could marry and have kids with. And I was like, wow, I finally met the one, finally met this person. Well, it was just a lesson from God teaching me beauty on the outside doesn't mean everything, buddy, And I think the rejection was protection. And, for a long time, I felt like I wasn't good enough, and I've heard this in a lot of comments and from my clients. We end up trying to continuously give because it's never enough for the narcissist, thinking that it's on us, but it's really not. It's on the narcissist. But we end up trying to appease and do more for the narcissist to make them happy. We end up selling our soul and giving up things we love to do and things we like to please the narcissist. And I think when you do that, when you give a part of yourself away, you're losing a sense of self. You end up taking a huge loss in your life in the physical and not as well as the spiritual. And in my situation with the narcissist, I didn't realize that I was getting rejected from the very beginning, but that's what it was. I never felt enough. So I was always doing things, and she was always saying, how this person does this, and he doesn't talk back, or this, like all these things, and warping my mind to make me think that I had to be more, to do better, be this better version, because I wasn't enough. But the reality is the rejection from the narcissist was actually my protection, because if she didn't do all the horrible things she did to me, I would have never understood my true self-worth and to understand that I am someone that is worthy of an immense love. I would have never realized that. So the rejection is really protection. And I think that a lot of times, we look at it as like we're not good enough, and they did all these bad things to me because I just wasn't up to that top tier quality. But it's really not the case. It's not the case at all. The narcissist isn't good enough even for themselves or for anyone, so they have to take from everyone else. It doesn't matter if you cut your hair, like for example, in my situation, the ex-narcissist didn't like beards at all, like hated. And I had a beard for 5 years, never shaved it for 5 years. And then she got me to start shaving, and I shaved for a year. And I hated it. I hated it because it was taking away from what I liked, but I was literally just doing it to please her. And so, there's compromise is one thing. When you're in a relationship, you can compromise. The curtains, I like green. Well, I like blue. Okay, let's meet in the middle. You have green curtains, and then I'll pick up the window shades or whatever. There's compromise, healthy compromise, but when it's on who you are as a human being, changing things that they don't like but you do like, and it's not in a negative way, like, if I like having a beard, is it affecting someone else negatively to have that beard? Like, is it physically hurting them? No. So, I'm gonna do that. That's my point is, I was rejected constantly, never caught on to it. And then I realized, I was giving up all these parts of myself for someone else that didn't deserve it, didn't deserve my love. And, once you come to that conclusion, you are able to really take a step back and realize all the great things of who you are. And when you find that, then you're never gonna compromise unwillingly with someone else ever again. You're gonna know how to set boundaries for the things you do want and the things you do like. And I think it's an important thing for everyone that's been in a narcissistic relationship to realize moving forward, because when you get into that next relationship, you know what healthy compromise is. You are not going to alter who you are as a human being. People come together, obviously, you want to grow and build, but like, certain core beliefs and things like that, like I would never ask someone to, change their religion or their spiritual beliefs or whatever it is. Like, that's all on you. Like, I can give my insight, but at the end of the day, you are your own person and you have your own opinions and your own beliefs. And I'm not gonna be one to say, well, you're wrong, that's not how it should be, or that's not how it is. Like, no, you have to let people be people. And with the narcissist, they would never let you be who you are meant to be, because they wanted to change that. They wanted to alter that for their own benefit, because when they alter it for their own benefit, it gives them incredible power. Think about, like in my situation, me having a beard for years and years and loving that, and the narcissist knowing that I love that and like that look, and then I start shaving just because that's what she wants. Do you know the ego boost and the power that a narcissist is going to feel from that? They derive so much pleasure from getting you to break down who you are, to break your own beliefs, to break your boundaries. Narcissists love people that don't know how to set strong boundaries, because then they just walk all over you, and they know that they can take and continuously take without you ever lashing back or without you ever catching on. So, don't think when you were rejected that it was a bad thing. I think about like when you're in high school or middle school, a kid, and you're getting picked last for playing dodgeball, like things like that. In that situation, it's like, oh yeah, you don't feel like good enough. You're not good at sports or whatever it is. Like, oh, people don't like me. But at the end of the day, it's not a reflection of who you are. It's just how these other people feel. So, you can't let the opinions of others bring you down. So you can't let the opinion of the narcissist on how they view you bring you down. Keep being you, keep being authentic, keep being genuine and unique. Rejection is protection. It is the best thing that ever happened to you. Rejection was the best thing that ever happened to you. Getting rejected by the narcissist saved your life, taught you valuable lessons, got you to move forward in your spiritual quest and your authentic quest and your healing journey, so that you could get someone that is amazing and perfect for you. And it's easier said than done. Like I said, I thought the ex-narcissist was the only person I ever felt that I would marry. And, that's just what I wanted, but that's not necessarily what God had in plan for me, for my life. He has someone great ready for me, but I needed to learn all of those lessons. I needed to learn about giving all the self-love to myself. So I needed to get rejected. I think about, I'm going to try and say this without sounding arrogant. Like I've dated a lot of females in my time, and I think I was always the one to walk away, like 99% of the time. I never got rejected. And I think with the narcissist, getting that rejection from finally the person that I thought like I wanted was a real eye-opener, because I had never really felt that, and because it was someone that I deemed to be worthy, that I could like be with forever. I think that was a huge hit to my ego and my self-esteem, but it also allowed me to reflect and be in my own self-awareness and understanding what happened through my life and my own traumas, and how I needed to move forward, and how I needed to minimize my ego more, and be less selfish and more selfless. So it taught me like a lot of lessons. So I'm very grateful now for the rejection of the narcissist. At the time, I wasn't. Again, I see this from a lot of clients, where we often take on the rejection of the narcissist as a reflection of who we are, and that we're not good enough. But that's not the case at all. I say this all the time in so many videos, that it doesn't matter what you have. It doesn't matter if you look like Brad Pitt or Scarlett Johansson or are the president of the United States, have $1 billion. It doesn't matter what you have. It would never be good enough. It will never be good enough. So knowing that, you can't let the rejection from the narcissist bring down your own self-worth. It's easy because it's not easy, but after the narcissistic relationship, you think it should be like, okay, they did all these bad things, I should just let it go and never think about them again, right? But oftentimes when you have that soul tie and the trauma bond, we end up ruminating and thinking about the narcissist all the time, dreaming about them, constantly thinking about them, and we get in our own heads, and that makes our self-worth go down, because we're like, it's like we know that person was not good for us, but yet we're still giving them energy. We're still thinking about them all the time, even though they did all these things. And we oftentimes connect that to our self-worth and self-esteem. But you have to understand that it's so much deeper than the physical, because you have that spiritual soul tie, and it was connected with a trauma bond of, whatever you went through in childhood and whatever the narcissist went through in childhood. And when you have that deep, painful connection, it becomes really hard to break. And, you'll be thinking about them, sometimes for a long time, for months, years. And you can't let that make you feel weakness, because I remember thinking and ruminating about the narcissist for a good 6 months. And I always just felt like, I'm like, man, why am I still thinking about them all the time? Like, they did all these terrible things, and I know now that I will never marry them. I would never have kids with them, ever, not in a million years. And I'm like feeling down about myself because I'm thinking about them all the time. And what I came to realize with that is, it's just because you have those deep connections, you have that trauma, you have unhealed wounds. That's really what it is. Those unhealed wounds didn't get pulled out in other relationships. Like I said, I was never in a long-term relationship. When I dated other women, these unhealed wounds never came out. There was no trauma bond created. So it was very easy, I don't want to say easy, but it was very quick and swift moving on afterwards. I wasn't thinking about them for months or anything. I was, okay, I'm on my purpose, I'm doing what I need to do, I'm going to meet someone great. Like, I never had days where I'm like thinking about them or thinking about what they're doing or wondering how their life's going and having dreams. Like, never happened. So I remember that 6 months after the narcissistic relationship, it was very tough to not connect my own self-worth and self-esteem to the thought of thinking about them all the time. And what I did, once I finally kind of let go of it and, forgave myself for thinking about them all the time and understood that it was just the trauma bond and the soul tie, that it wasn't, reflecting on my self-worth of who I am as a person, I was able to let it go and not feel bad about thinking about them. And that's what I want for all of you guys. Don't feel bad if you're still thinking about the narcissist, having dreams and wondering or checking on social media, any of that stuff. You'll heal in good time, you will. And you just have to make small steps every day. But just know that rejection is your protection for you to become the best version of yourself. You're going to have everything you've ever wanted, but you have to let go of that ex-narcissist to get it. I always say this, if you are holding on to negativity inside, I have a manifestation book on Amazon, and when people message me or email me after they've read the book, and they're like, my manifestations aren't coming true, I'm trying to manifest $10,000 a month, or trying to manifest this new partner. Well, I'll say, well, what inside do you have that is negative that you are still holding on to? And then they'll be like, well, I still haven't gotten rid of this, and I'm still at my 9 to 5, and I haven't taken the steps. And I'm like, well, okay, there you go. You're holding on to all this negativity. You're holding on to all this trash, all this baggage from past relationships, abuse, and other things. How are you going to manifest and take in positive things if you're filled with negative? You have to, it's kind of like a puzzle piece. Like, if you take out a piece, let's just say there's a huge negative piece right here in my heart and everything else is positive, but I got this massive negative block. If we pulled that negative block just right out, now we have a huge empty space here. Now we have room to take in abundance, to take in more positivity, to manifest the things we want. But if we have all this baggage and all this negativity and things we haven't let go of, it's going to be really hard to manifest the things you want in life. You have to make room. You have to make space for the things you want. If you want to make space for that person, you want your dream spouse, guess what? Can't be ruminating about the narcissist. Can't be holding on to that negativity of all the things they did. Got to remove it. Got to let go of it. And that's why I think everything happens in good time, why rejection is protection and God is protecting you. God is protecting you right now until you're able to let go of that and fully heal. And then he's going to give you that person you've always dreamed of, or the job you've always dreamed of, or the finances, all those things. But while you're holding on to it, you're never going to be able to take in and manifest properly. So I hope that video helped you guys. I know it was kind of like all over the place. Please comment on this. Let me know if you feel that rejection was your biggest protection and where you are on your healing journey. And I wish you guys all the best today, and just stay safe and keep continuing to be authentically yourself. And you went through the narcissistic relationship so that you could heal and so that you could become genuine and authentically you. Because that's what someone is going to want. When I watch movies and I see actors that act like are very not authentic, not genuine, like not really putting their soul into it, you can tell. It's a crap movie. But then you can tell where there's the actors that like, it's so authentic and so real and genuine, and you love it and you're attracted to it, right? You're like, this is an amazing movie, because you can feel those feelings. And it's the same thing with you. On your healing journey, if you got all that negative and you still haven't healed and you still haven't let go of things, you can put on a brave face and you can act all happy. You can wear a mask, everyone's wearing masks to some extent. But until you let go of that, people are gonna sense energetically that you're not your true, authentic, genuine self yet. So that's why it's so important to go on the healing journey and continue to just make small progress every day. It's not gonna be an overnight fix. You might have a lot of baggage to undress, but over time you just keep chipping away at the statue, and eventually it'll be done and you'll be that authentic, genuine version. All right, guys, I'll talk to you soon. Enjoy the day, go get a workout in if you can. Stay safe, stay healthy. Love y'all, take care.